When my son tried to steal at the bank, the manager uncovered our dark family secret. It was an ordinary Tuesday morning. The sun peeked through the clouds like it was hesitating to rise. Birds chirped their morning tunes, and the world seemed to breathe in harmony. But inside the First National Bank, a storm was brewing. Panic washed over the faces of everyone in line as a mother's heart began to race. When her son, 10 years old and spirited, darted toward the teller, it felt like time froze. People gasped. A woman clutched her purse tighter as if the fabric could shield her from the chaos. What was he thinking? They were a family of modest means, but they never imagined their son would resort to this. Why would he steal? The question echoed through the air, heavier than the morning coffee brewing in the break room. The bank manager, Mr. Reynolds, rushed to intervene. He saw something strange flash in the boy's eyes. Was it fear? Or was it something more? The child looked smaller than usual, his rebellious spirit overshadowed by a fear that gripped him, and somehow that made everything about to unfold even darker. Just behind them, others shook their heads, hardly able to comprehend how this could happen. Was there a history here? A hidden truth? Mr. Reynolds' brow furrowed as he caught a glimpse of a family photo on the boy's backpack. It was crumpled as if it had been pulled out in haste, the edges perfected with time but worn from constant handling. Who were they hiding? Before we continue, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Mr. Reynolds took a deep breath, trying to decipher the frantic scene unfolding before him. People murmured amongst themselves, their disapproval thick in the air. They whispered about broken families, desperation, and shame. The boy's trembling hands reached toward something hidden in his pocket. Was it a toy? Or was it something more sinister? Every heartbeat was loud, echoing in the silence that blanketed the bank. And just when Mr. Reynolds was about to grab the boy's shoulder, something moved in the shadows, a figure that seemed to blend into the walls like a ghost. Who was lurking behind the scenes? What secret was waiting to burst forth and shatter this perfect bank facade? The tension peaked, and as the world around them gasped in disbelief, a truth larger than the boy's theft awaited its moment to be revealed. The moment was electric, charged with confusion and uncertainty. The room stood still as if the very air held its breath. Mr. Reynolds' gaze darted back to the boy, whose small frame trembled nervously. The tension rippled throughout the room, a mix of anxiety and raw curiosity. Just what was happening? A suffocating silence enveloped them, punctuated only by the soft rustling of bills in a nearby teller's drawer. As Mr. Reynolds reached out to the boy, desperate to defuse the situation, the shadows shifted again. A soft laugh echoed from the back of the bank, chilling in its tone. It ripped through the silence, sending shivers down spines and deepening the mystery hanging in the air. The crowd turned, eyes searching for the source of that unsettling sound. Panic morphed into fear as a familiar face emerged. Jeremiah, an old acquaintance of the family, but one wrapped in a veil of suspicion. "What are you doing here?" the mother blurted out, her voice tinged with disbelief. Jeremiah's presence was like a cold wind cutting through the tight-knit atmosphere. With a devilish grin, he stepped closer. "Looks like your little thief might need some help. Or maybe he just pulled the wrong string." His words dripped with malice, and the murmurs of the crowd grew louder as they tried to piece together this new development. The boy's eyes widened, a mixture of fear and recognition flashing across his face. There was a connection, an invisible line tying them together, and it was making the air grow heavier as the weight of their shared past loomed at Mr. Reynolds positioned himself protectively in front of the boy, feeling the need to shield him from both the man and the glares of the crowd. "What do you mean, wrong string?" he asked, barely masking his anger and confusion. "Oh, come now," Jeremiah taunted, tilting his head and raising his hands in mock surrender. "Just a simple misunderstanding." As the tension escalated, the mother stepped forward. "You don't belong here, Jeremiah. You've got nothing to do with us." The resolve in her voice snapped like a taut string, but doubt lingered in her eyes. What darkness had he dug up from their past? Jeremiah shrugged. Maybe. Or maybe your son knows more than you think. Isn't that right, kid? He locked eyes with the boy, as if daring him to spill secrets soaked in fear and shame. The boy looked between Jeremiah and his mother, his small hands clenching into tiny fists. An internal struggle played across his face. Confusion, loyalty, fear. It was a tempest raging inside him, threatening to spill its contents everywhere. A new decision loomed if his heart didn't whisper the truth soon. Would the boy find himself drowning in falsehoods and shadows? Tell them, Jeremiah urged, lowering his voice until it was almost a hiss. Tell them what you found. Silence fell again, but now it was tinged with a sense of impending doom. Mr. Reynolds stood like a statue, all attention focused on the boy, waiting. The weight of 1,000 dark secrets hung heavy in the air. The truth was just on the edge, ready to leap into the light. As the boy opened his mouth, only the faintest of whispers escaped, barely audible over the swell of anxious whispers. I found something at home. The impact of his words landed like a thunderclap, freezing the air. What had he discovered? What was hidden within the walls of their seemingly ordinary life? The crowd shifted uneasily. Every pair of eyes waited, holding their breath, ready for the storm that was about to break loose. And then unexpectedly, a loud crash from outside interrupted everything. The world outside erupted into chaos. What had happened now? As everyone scrambled to the windows, fear loomed large and ominous. In that moment, the boy's secret felt insignificant against this new wave of threat. Something was approaching. What had he found? And why did it matter now when the chaos was encroaching, ready to consume them all? The crash outside was deafening, shaking the very foundations of the bank. Glass rattled in its frames as startled gasps shot through the crowd like wildfire. Mr. Reynolds instinctively stepped further in front of the boy, the instinct to protect flaring in him. What is going on? The mother shouted, her voice barely rising above the din. She moved to pull the boy close, but he resisted slightly, his wide eyes darting from her to the window. Another sound, metal scraping against concrete, echoed ominously, drawing everyone's attention back outside. A fleet of armed officers flooded the street, their uniforms sharp against the chaos that unfurled. They were yelling, barking orders, urgency written in every line of their faces. Get back. Everyone stay inside. Jeremiah's laughter erupted again, a sound that cut through the tension like a knife. Looks like things just got a little more interesting, he jeered, eyes sparkling with delight at the turmoil around him. There was something downright terrifying in the way he relished their fear. The boy stole a glance at Jeremiah, his youthful innocence battling against a surge of recognition. Whatever it was that hung between them, the weight of a past he couldn't fully grasp, made his stomach churn. What do you know? Mr. Reynolds asked, voice low and dangerous, still protecting the boy from the storm brewing around them. What have you done? Done? Me? Jeremiah feigned innocence, an exaggerated pout on his lips. I merely observed. I didn't pull the trigger on this chaos. His finger pointed toward the commotion outside. But your little boy's discovery could change everything. Fear curled in the boy's chest as he took in Jeremiah's words. What did he mean by that? His heart raced, and he looked back at his mother, desperation clawing at his insides. She met his gaze, her eyes demanding truth, but fear also flickered behind them. Fear for him. We need to leave, she finally yelled, panic infiltrating her tone. Before they come in here. Leave? Jeremiah chuckled, shaking his head as if she was a naive child. But the fun is just starting. Let us find out what little Isaac discovered, shall we? He leaned closer, and the air around them grew taut as a bowstring. Maybe he found something that could protect us all. Or destroy us. The boy felt the weight of his hesitation bear down on him. Outside, shouting erupted and sirens blared, creating a discordant symphony of fear. With every pulse of adrenaline racing in his veins, he knew he stood at a precipice, one foot dangling over treachery and the other grounded in innocence. Just say it. Jeremiah's gaze bore into him, a predator eager for the kill. What did you see? What did you find at home? The crowd shifted, the whispers growing into a fever pitch. Mr. Reynolds felt the mounting pressure, waiting, pleading with the boy to speak, to reveal whatever light he had uncovered amongst the shadows. But the boy remained frozen, his breath hitching. Desperation clawed at him. He could feel both Jeremiah's eagerness to provoke and his mother's trembling fear. And within him a truth struggled for release. Then another crash. This time closer. It sent everyone stumbling backward, hearts racing as the doors burst open. Agents in black tactical gear stormed in, weapons drawn, faces obscured. The atmosphere shifted sharply, shifting from whispers to shouts of confusion and fear. And amidst the chaos, it happened. The boy's voice finally broke through the noise, trembling yet strong. I found documents, secrets about our family. The revelation hung like a grenade, ready to explode. The silence fell. Panic morphed into horror. No one dared move. What had he uncovered that was now connected to this frenzied scene? Because whatever lay ahead, it was just about to unravel, and there was no way to anticipate the magnitude of the storm brewing from that revelation. But who was the true enemy? Jeremiah or the chaos outside? And how deep did the secrets go? The turmoil surged as the boy's words hung in the air, a heavy fog of dread creeping over everyone in the bank. He could feel all eyes on him, the weight of their expectations strangling his voice before it could rise again. His mother clutched his arm, her grip like iron, pulling him close as if to shield him from all the sudden chaos. The agents moved in, asserting their presence with a blend of authority and fear. One officer, a woman with a grim look etched onto her face, scanned the room, eyes narrowing as they locked onto Mr. Reynolds. "You, where's the boy?" she commanded, her voice cutting through the murmurs like a knife. "Right here," Mr. Reynolds responded sharply, stepping further in front of Isaac. "Yes, not going anywhere. You need to explain what's going on." The officer's eyes softened momentarily, then hardened again. "We have information that places this building at risk. There's been a breach. We're securing the area." Her firm resolve seemed to stir a mix of fear and uncertainty among the crowd. Jeremiah chuckled again, an unsettling delight in the horror unfolding. "A breach? How dramatic. But you're wasting time, aren't you? The real story lies with little Isaac and the secrets he's holding." The boy's heart began to race, the implications of his discovery crashing into him like waves. It had been an ordinary day when he stumbled upon those documents, the truth about their family hidden in the files of their father's office. Now that ordinary discovery felt like a bomb ready to detonate in their lives. "No." The word slipped from his lips involuntarily, the panic spilling over. I don't want to say anything more." But the officers pressed on, their questions unrelenting, weaving through the tension. "You need to tell us everything you found," another agent urged. The desperation in his voice contrasted the seriousness of the situation, trying to extract the truth from a terrified child. From the corner of his eye, Isaac caught Jeremiah's sly smile. It was infuriating. Jeremiah thrived in chaos, he fed off it. Even now he leaned against the wall, relishing the fear radiating from everyone, like a cat watching its prey squirm. "This is not a game," the officer barked, stepping closer to Isaac, trying to break the boy's veil of silence. Mr. Reynolds retorted, "Can't you see the boy is terrified? This is too much. Just get everyone out of here safely." His protective instinct surged forth, but uncertainty shifted through the faceless crowd. The boy could see the flicker of fear in the bystanders' eyes. He knew they too were grappling with the unknown outside. The shouting intensified, mixed with the sound of something heavy hitting the ground. Was it another explosion? Anxiety took root in Isaac's stomach, twisting painfully. The atmosphere felt charged, on the brink of something monstrous breaking through. "Isaac," his mother whispered, bringing his attention back to her. "You have to tell them. We can't let this go any further. Could put us all in danger." Jeremiah smirked, and Isaac found courage pulsing through his veins. What did that loser know about his family? He clenched his fists, thoughts racing. There was no more silence that would shield them. "Fine," he shouted, surprising even himself. "But if I tell you, I need promises." The room fell quiet, breath held as tension coiled tighter. The agents exchanged glances, their brows furrowing before nodding gravely. "What's your price?" The leader replied evenly. "But what if they can't keep their word?" Jeremiah interjected, amusement tinted with malice. "Wouldn't you love to know what happens when secrets come out to play?" The boy's resolve wavered momentarily as he looked back at the chaotic scene around them. This was bigger than him. bigger than Jeremiah's smirking face. What if all this chaos happens because of what I know? He whispered, fear creeping back in. And in that moment Isaac realized. Secrets had a way of unraveling threads, tying people together in ways they never predicted. But the real question loomed ahead: was he strong enough to face what they might reveal? He took a shaky breath, ready to step into the storm. It was time for the truth. But would his admission unleash more chaos than they were already enduring? The air grew thick with tension, every gaze fixed on Isaac as if waiting for a match to spark the powder keg of anxiety. He could see the uncertainty painting his mother's face, her fear palpable as she released his arm just slightly, the distance between them growing heavy with implications. Isaac, please, she urged softly, her plea hanging like a thread on the edge of a cliff, about to snap. The room spiraled into chaos around him. People were whispering, some trembling, while others shot glances toward the exits. Witless hope spread across their faces. Jeremiah laughed, a sharp, cruel sound that cut through shivering breaths, rattling the walls of Isaac's determination. Let us get this show on the road, he taunted, eyes glinting with excitement. Just think of it as a confession, Isaac. A little reveal of family drama in a bank of doom. How riveting. The officer, the one who had taken charge, stepped forward again. We can protect you, but you have to trust us. Even she seemed unsure of her own words. The prospect of a boy holding the key to something dark weighing heavily on all of them. But could he trust them? They didn't know what secrets swirled in the Reynolds family portrait, filled with shadows and unspoken fears. Isaac felt the clamoring thoughts battle in his mind. He took a deep breath, drawing on every thread of courage he could muster. Okay, he said, voice trembling, but you have to promise me, you have to swear you'll keep everyone here safe. And no one will hurt us. We promise, came the quiet responses, filled with urgency. Isaac's heart pounded in his chest. I found some documents, he started, his voice breaking, words tumbling out like loose stones from a landslide. In my dad's office. He was hiding things that aren't right. A hush settled over the room. Eyes widened. What kind of things? The officer pressed gently, leaning in with concern. Jeremiah scoffed, just get to the juicy bits, kid. Nobody here has all day. His smile was unfaltering, a predator enjoying the feast before him. Isaac swallowed hard. About our family, it's about the money. Dad, he wasn't just a banker. He was mixed up in something dangerous. I think he's in trouble. Gasps erupted around the bank, murmurs rising like a tidal wave. The eyes of the agents flared with alarm, the urgency radiating through them. Trouble? The officer repeated, voice barely above a whisper, her demeanor shifting, all threads of authority now laced with concern. What do you mean? It's bigger than you think. Isaac pressed, fueled by fear and adrenaline. Those documents mention deals, and in something about a threat. Someone might want him dead. A crash echoed from outside, shaking the building, the sound of glass shattering mixed with frantic screams that sliced through the air like a blade. Isaac's breath hitched. The panic surged through him, choking him. Stay calm, Mr. Reynolds shouted, his voice cutting through the rising chaos, but it was too late. People started to move toward the exits, pushing and shoving, the fear overwhelming them. A live current of sheer panic radiating through the bank. Is this the breach you talked about? Asked an agent, glancing toward the now panicked crowd. Without realizing it, Isaac's eyes found Jeremiah's again. The boy's grin widened, feeding on the disorder. Welcome to the real chaos, Isaac. Isn't it exciting? All of this because of you. Isaac felt his insides twist at Jeremiah's words. What had he done by speaking up? Was this madness his fault? As the shouting reached a fever pitch and the crowd wavered between flight or fight, Isaac knew he was at the eye of the storm, facing everything head-on. But a deeper darkness lurked within those documents, something much more sinister than he had anticipated. And suddenly an image flashed in his mind. A cryptic name, a threat he couldn't fully understand. What if, he whispered to himself, trembling with the possibility? What if I've only uncovered the tip of the iceberg? With that haunting thought, the storm brewed around him, preparing to pull him under. The screams escalated, reverberating against the walls like gunfire, primal and raw. Isaac's heart raced, quickening with each pulse of panic flooding the bank. The sound of the shattering glass still lingered, sending shards of dread deeper into his core. It was chaos, a storm of people moving blindly, fear-carving pathways through the crowd. "Everyone, stay calm," the officers tried to assert, but their voices drowned under the rising tide of hysteria. Isaac felt the suffocating weight of helplessness wrap around him as his mother clutched his arm again, her fingers like a vice, anchoring him amidst the turmoil. What is happening? Freezing in the madness, tension buzzed in his chest. Whispers of confusion echoed in the air, spilling unsettling bits of information. A robbery? An accident? Jeremiah stepped forward, unfazed, spinning the moment into something grotesquely thrilling. "How is this for a plot twist?" he taunted, eyes dancing with malevolence. "Your little secret just made things all the more interesting, huh?" Isaac yearned to punch that wicked grin off Jeremiah's face. Instead, he pushed his feelings down, focusing on the concrete facts he needed to oust. "Listen, I need to get everyone out of here. If what I uncovered is true," his mother whispered. "Isaac, stop. You don't know what you're saying." But Isaac's resolve solidified. "I can't just stand by. They need to know the truth about Dad." His words tumbled out, desperation heavy on his tongue. It struck him then, a sudden clarity piercing through the chaos. Those documents weren't just about the money. They hinted at something dark, something Robert Reynolds had seemingly multiplied into deception. "I have to remember there's more." "More?" The officer caught his gaze, genuine concern glimmering in her stern expression. "What do you mean, Isaac?" As he strained to recall the words from the documents, memories swirled like a maelstrom in his mind. A name, an ominous reference. "I think there was a mention of a gang, Vipers or something like that. They were threatening my dad." A murmur rippled through the room, flipping the panic switch into high gear. The officers exchanged furtive glances, the urgency escalating as a wave of seriousness washed over the previously uneasy atmosphere. "Get everyone back," the lead officer shouted, a commanding authority bursting out. "We need to lock this perimeter down, no one exits." The crowd stilled slightly, unease replacing the frantic shoves. Isaac's heart sank as he faced the chaotic reality of their situation. What now? Who was outside? What if the threats he unearthed were real? The shouts outside morphed into an impending confrontation. A collision of fear and fortitude rattled him to his bones. What if they come in? What if Jeremiah's laughter weaved through his thoughts like poison? "But, Isaac," he crooned, close enough now for Isaac to feel the chill of his breath. "What if you're just a kid caught in a game far beyond your reach?" In a moment that stretched painfully, Isaac's eyes darted to his mother, whose face was blanched of color. The helplessness in her gaze sent his breath hitching. No, he wouldn't let that happen. They wouldn't fall prey to the lurking dangers of the past. As decisions raced through his mind, adrenaline surged anew. The email address, the one that could connect him to answers. I could reach out, gain some intel. He turned feverish eyes toward the officers. "Do it," the officer urged, pushing through the crowd as if the impending madness needed to be unraveled. "Grab your phone." With shaking hands he pulled out the device. Come on, he mumbled, navigating through his contacts. But the chaos outside escalated, voices blending into dissonance that vibrated through his bones. Then a sudden thunderous crack split the air, louder than the commotion. It shattered his concentration. A gunshot? Panic gripped Isaac, twisting around his chest. The officer froze, eyes darting toward the source of the sound, realization dawning across her tense features. Isaac's control slipped. He realized just how fragile their safety was. "Run!" Someone yelled from the crowd, panic reshaping into a terrifying urgency. The moment stretched into an eternity of choices lying heavy on Isaac's shoulders. What had he walked into? And how far would he go to protect his family? Suddenly, a figure emerged at the bank entrance, shadows swirling just behind them. Every instinct screamed that a new storm was brewing. But were they about to face danger or an unexpected savior? The tension snapped tightly, and Isaac's heart raced into uncharted territory. What would happen next? Isaac's breath hitched as the figure stepped closer, the shadows writhing like serpents. It was a man, tall and broad-shouldered, wearing a tattered leather jacket that screamed danger. The room fell silent, every pair of eyes riveted on him, their unspoken fears coiling in the atmosphere. "Get down!" the officer shouted, pushing past Isaac and shoving his mother behind the nearest pillar. Fear iced Isaac's veins, but something in his gut urged him to stay rooted. He had to know what was happening. The man at the entrance held a gun, its metallic glint slicing through the dim light. He was flanked by two others equally threatening. Whispers washed over the crowd. The Vipers. It has to be them. A jolt of icy realization crashed into Isaac. The documents had warned of this, of gang members pursuing his father. "Mom!" he gasped, hoping to pull her back to him. "Stay close." The officer faced the intruders, arms outstretched. "Drop your weapons. This is a secure area." But her voice trembled. The threat of violence swallowed her authority whole. Isaac took a step forward, desperation churning. "What do you want?" he shouted, his voice shaking but loud enough to cut through the terror. The man smirked, eyes glinting with malice. "Oh, we're just here for a little chat with Robert Reynolds and his family." He turned his head slightly toward Isaac, sizing him up. "You wouldn't know anything about those documents, would you?" Heart pounding, Isaac felt as though the ground beneath him had crumbled away. The weight of his father's secrets crashed over him, a tidal wave of dread. "Leave us alone," he yelled, the intensity of his plea ringing hollow. The gang members shifted, laughter bubbling between them like a poisonous brew. "This isn't a game, kid. Your father made promises he couldn't keep. Now let us settle our accounts." The lead officer drew her weapon, but a sharp jab of panic stung Isaac. "Don't shoot," he shouted, holding up his hands, blood thundering in his ears. There had to be a way out, and his mind raced through options. Suddenly, one of the men lunged forward, barreling past the officer as he reached for the nearest customer, a middle-aged woman trembling in the corner. Fear overwhelmed Isaac as he shouted, "No." The air crackled with intensity, like a match ready to ignite an inferno. His mother clutched Isaac's arm tighter, eyes wide, breathing erratic. "Isaac, please wait," he cried, realization striking like lightning. "I know where the documents are. I can help you." The gang members froze, glancing at one another, the shift in atmosphere palpable. The man with the gun narrowed his gaze. "Help us? How?" Before he could respond, the overhead lights flickered, bathing the room in a staccato pattern of light and shadow. Isaac's heart raced, setting the pace for his thoughts as he scanned for anything an escape route. A distraction. A loud crash erupted from outside, and sirens began to wail in the distance. Panic spread through the gang like wildfire. "We don't have time for this," the leader barked. "Let us go." Isaac's mind reeled with fear and uncertainty. What could he say to keep them from leaving? Was his life and the lives of those he loved about to hang in the balance because of his father's secrets? "Just listen," Isaac blurted out, emboldened by desperation. "We can make a deal. The documents it'll help you. Just give me time to explain." The leader paused, a flicker of interest flashing across his face. But behind him the sirens grew closer, prompting a decision. "You have 1 minute, kid. Talk fast." With the eyes of the gang and everyone in the bank on him, Isaac felt that slender thread of hope slip further away. But he had to try. "My dad, he's in trouble with the wrong people. If you let us go, I'll bring you the papers." The leader's smirk returned, though it was laced with skepticism. "And if you don't?" "I will. I promise." Twists and turns in this precarious negotiation danced around the room as time dwindled. Isaac felt power surging in his pulse, a desperate flame igniting within him. But time was slipping. Would they believe him? Would he actually be able to deliver? Or was he just sealing his family's fate with a half-baked plan? As the minutes ticked down, he braced himself for the storm that threatened to break. Would he step into the abyss or claw back to safety once more? "All right, kid. We'll play your little game," the leader growled, but the glint in his eye promised no good. Isaac swallowed hard. The choices ahead now felt darker and more dangerous than he could ever have imagined. What would he uncover about his father and his own soul as he stepped into the lion's den? Every second counted, and with the next move looming in the shadows, Isaac knew he had to act quickly. The reality of their escape hinged on the truth. But the question remained, would he find the courage to seek it? Isaac's heart thundered in his chest as he stared down the barrel of the gun, the metallic scent of fear thick in the air. In those tense moments he felt like the world had narrowed to just him and the gang leader. Everything else, the frightened faces around him, the grinding sirens outside, his mother's grip tightening on his arm faded into the background. Okay, listen, he began, forcing himself to keep his voice steady. I'll bring you the documents. I swear it. The gang members exchanged glances, their expressions uncertain but hungry for something: power, revenge, or maybe just the thrill of the chase. Isaac sensed their fleeting moment of hesitation, and he seized it. I can get them. Just let my mom and me go. The leader chuckled, a sinister sound that sent chills down Isaac's spine. You think we're gonna let you two walk out of here? Not a chance, kid. We need to ensure you don't run. He nodded to one of his lackeys, who moved closer to Isaac. Wait! Isaac shouted, panic surging again. He stepped back, forcing himself to think. He needed to buy time. What if I make it worth your while? I know secrets about your rivals. I can help you take them down. The man's eyes sparkled with interest, but he barked a laugh. Secrets? You think we care about some dumb kid's secrets? Yet there was a flicker of curiosity in his eyes, a temptation that begged exploration. Isaac blurted, I do. If I'm gone, I can't provide anything for you. But if you keep me here, I can give you everything you want. I can lead you to the right place, the right people. Why should we trust you? Came the icy voice of the leader. You could be bluffing. We don't have time to waste. Because if you go now, you'll just lose your opportunity. Let me prove it. There's a reason my dad's in trouble, and I'm the one who knows it. I can connect you to his enemies. There was a heavy silence as the man considered. The tension in the air seemed to coil tighter, each heartbeat pulling everyone closer to a breaking point. A loud crash echoed from outside, the unmistakable sound of an officer's vehicle slewing into position. The lights above flickered again, casting dancing shadows across the floor, and Isaac's breath hitched. First thing we need to do is get your mother out, the leader finally said, his voice low and threatening. You stay. And don't even think about trying anything clever. Isaac swallowed, fear knotting his insides. The officer had moved to a better position, pointing her gun at the door, preparing to make an entrance. The gang was out of time and they knew it. Fine, but don't think this is over. We'll take her outside just to make sure you don't play the hero. The leader motioned to the other two, who stepped toward Isaac's mother with menacing purpose. Mom! Isaac shouted, a raw edge to his voice. No. Isaac, it's okay. She cried, her eyes wide and glittering with tears. Just do what they say. We'll find a way out of this. Heart pounding, Isaac watched helplessly as they grabbed her. Time fractured around him, his stomach twisting with despair. Could he really play along and lead them into a trap? Or was he simply digging a grave for his family? Get her out! The gang leader barked, urgency creeping into his tone as the sirens wailed more loudly, boiling over with desperation. No! Isaac yelled again, but the room twisted in chaos as his mother was dragged toward the exit. In that split second, Isaac had a choice. He could follow them, risking everything to save her, or find a way to gather whatever courage he had left and fight for their escape. He wrestled with the weight of that decision, adrenaline sparking in his veins like fire. Then it happened. His mother turned, her voice cutting through the din, desperate yet steady. Isaac, remember what I said. Trust yourself. In that moment, clarity struck. He knew he had to make a choice that would shake the foundations of his life forever. Would he risk everything to confront the darkness that had ensnared them, or succumb to fear and lose his chance at freedom? With resolve sharpening his mind, Isaac took a deep breath. Let her go, he shouted, and with every ounce of confidence he could muster, he planted himself between the gang and the door. But before he could put a plan into motion, a figure emerged from the shadows, causing everything to implode around him. Who was it? And what did this newcomer mean for Isaac's fragile moment of determination? The unknown loomed like a storm on the horizon, and Isaac's pulse quickened as he stood on the precipice of a choice that could change everything. Isaac blinked, struggling to comprehend the silhouette stepping into the dim light. A woman tall, fierce, and unmistakably commanding, dressed in a leather jacket that screamed authority. The gang members froze, confusion rippling through their ranks as they regarded this unexpected development. Who the hell are you? The gang leader snapped, tightening his grip on the weapon. It doesn't matter, she replied, her voice steady, as cool as a winter breeze. What matters is what you're about to do. Let them go. Isaac felt a sliver of hope slip into his heart, yet doubt quickly shadowed it. Who was this woman? Why would she stake her life on his and his mother's freedom? The gang leader hesitated, his arrogance faltering. You think you can just come in here and think carefully, she interrupted, taking a step closer. One more moment and there's no one left to save. The tension hung thick like fog. Isaac's mom turned to him, her eyes wide, brimming with questions. Was this woman a threat or their salvation? The gang members exchanged glances, unease creeping into their swagger. The sirens outside faded temporarily, creating a silence that felt almost surreal. You think you can bluff us? The leader sneered, but his bravado was fraying at the edges. No bluff, she said, her gaze steady as she met each of their eyes. You know who I am, don't you? You've heard the whispers. In that moment the air shifted. They had a name. She had heightening leverage. Isaac's heart raced as he pieced together fragments of conversation. He overheard rumors of the woman who dealt in shadows, a player in the city's underbelly. The gang leader clenched his jaw, clearly debating his options. I won't let you walk out of here with them, he growled, the threat rolling off his tongue like poison. Isaac opened his mouth, ready to plead again, but the woman raised her hand. You need to think and think fast. Before anyone could react, she reached into her pocket and pulled out a small device, something that looked like a remote. With a single button press, the deafening roar of loudspeakers erupted from all around, overwhelming the wretched stillness of the room. Over and out, she screamed, her voice cutting through the chaos. You're running out of time. The gang members flinched, startled. Isaac seized the moment, adrenaline coursing through his veins like fire. He dashed towards his mother, fear and instinct overriding reason. Don't let them take us, he pleaded, grabbing her hand. But before they could move, the gang leader barked an order, his voice cracking under the pressure. Shoot her. Now. Isaac's breath caught in his throat at his mother's sharp intake of air. The world collided in a cacophony of gunfire and chaos as the woman dove to the side, narrowly avoiding the bullet aimed for her. Isaac saw her roll, her movements fluid and purposeful, and he felt a surge of admiration. She was no mere bystander, she was a warrior. Run! The woman shouted, spinning around to return fire. With their chance slipping away, Isaac pulled his mother, heart racing as they headed for the exit the gang had momentarily forgotten. Wails of chaos unfolded behind them, cries mingled with shouts, and the flashes of gunfire painted the room in bursts of light and shadow. They surged through the door, skirting past a figure that had tumbled forward. Caught in the fray, a member of the gang, groaning on the ground. But freedom was ahead. As they burst into the night air, sirens blaring, Isaac's heart leaped. Would this woman help them both? Or was she merely a pawn in a bigger game? Come on, she yelled, urgency driving her tone as she regrouped with Isaac and his mom. I know a place. An eerie darkness enveloped them, and as they ran, Isaac couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning of their nightmare. What secrets was this woman hiding? And what price would they pay for her unexpected help? The shadows loomed, thicker than before, and questions spiraled in his mind, weaving a tapestry of dread and uncertain destiny. As they fled into the night, he realized one thing. Deeply. Understanding her motives might lead them to their salvation or to their doom. They sprinted down the street, adrenaline pulsing through Isaac's veins, propelling him and his mother forward. The sirens echoed in the distance, a haunting reminder of the chaos left behind. Glancing back, he caught sight of the commotion spilling out of the bank, figures moving in a blur, and he shivered at the thought of what could have happened. Keep moving, the woman commanded, her voice sharp as she led them into an alleyway, shadowed and narrow. We can't stop now. Isaac's heart raced and he looked at his mother, who was struggling to keep her breath steady. Who are you? He managed to ask between gasps. Each step felt heavy with uncertainty, a question uncoiling in his mind. I am someone who knows your father, she said simply, keeping her eyes forward and her pace unyielding. But that is not important right now. What matters is that we need to get you both to safety. Safety from what? Isaac pressed, fear quickly creeping back in. Is it the gang? Do they want to hurt us? She paused for a breath, her expression serious. They want something from your father. And now that they're aware you found something out, you're in their crosshairs. Isaac's chest tightened. The documents. He hadn't realized how dangerous his discovery could be. How much it had tangled them further into conflict. What did you mean when you said you knew my dad? He asked again, hoping to draw out more information. Your father's been involved in deeper dealings than you can imagine, she replied, evading specifics yet revealing the danger that loomed over them. That's why I am here. To help you. Help us. His mother echoed, tilting her head. What do you mean? Your father owes a debt, one that's caught up all his family. I didn't know you were involved until now. If I'd realized, I would have moved sooner. A flash of recognition mixed with anger surged through Isaac. You could have warned us. You could have stopped him. I didn't know it was this serious, she answered softly, but urgency flickered in her eyes. I can't undo the past. I can only help you navigate what's coming. Isaac felt a mix of anger and fear as he looked at his mother, who shifted uncomfortably. Right now we need answers. If you're connected to my father, then we need to find him and make sure he is safe. With determination, his words hung in the air, almost like a promise. Let us get to a safe place first, she urged, urgency cutting through the moment's tension. From there we'll devise a plan to get to your father. Isaac nodded, steeling himself for what lay ahead. It felt as if the world was splitting at the seams, and all he could hope for was to stitch it back together before it all unraveled completely. They moved through unfamiliar streets. Shadows crept along alleyways, flickering like ghosts against the walls. Isaac could hear their harsh breathing mingling with the distant sirens, a reminder of the danger trailing them. Finally, they ducked into a small unlit room that had once been a shop, now just a husk of memories and broken dreams. The doorway groaned as they passed through, shutting out the escalating chaos. Stay low, she instructed before closing the door, urgent eyes scanning every corner. Isaac didn't care about the stale air or wreckage left behind. His thoughts were a whirlwind, darting from worry for his father to the fierce determination to protect his mother. What's the plan? He asked, feeling a sense of urgency to piece their lives back together. First, we hunker down, she said, her expression stealing with purpose. We need to figure out where your father is and how to get to him. Isaac's heart raced. This wasn't just a game anymore. They were at risk, and it was all tied to his father's secrets. But how? The woman took a deep breath and began rifling through her bag. I had some contacts in the underworld that might help us if they're still willing. You just have to trust me. Trust? Isaac's voice wavered. It felt heavy in the air. You know my dad's involved with something I don't understand. How can I trust you? Because I'm here to protect you and your mother. Those documents, whatever they said, are dangerous. It's why they came after you. But you have to believe I'm on your side. He searched her eyes, looking for authenticity. He found something deep and earnest, but doubt gnawed at him. This woman felt like a lifeline strung too thin over an abyss. Before he could think further, the shadows outside stirred like wild animals, a reminder that danger was ever present. A loud bang on the door sent tremors through the room, echoing like thunder. They're coming. A voice shouted from outside and Isaac's breath caught. Stay close to me, the woman said, slipping into action mode, resolute and composed. It's time to move. Isaac's heart raced again. This time it wasn't fear. It was the spark of hope flickering in the distance. With his mother beside him, he gripped her arm tightly and they followed the woman. It was time to face the storm head dash on as they slipped through the back exit. Through a narrow passage that felt like it was leading into the unknown, Isaac made a vow. No matter what happened, he would find a way to protect his family, unravel the mysteries surrounding his father, and bring the truth into the light. They burst back onto the streets, shadows looming like specters, but with every hopeful step, Isaac felt a fire igniting inside him. The world around them might be unraveling, but together they would not be consumed. It was in that moment he understood. They were not just running away from chaos, they were running toward hope, and through that darkness, he swore he would uncover every secret, stand strong for the truths waiting to be revealed, and emerge from this nightmare a family united. With every pulse of determination coursing through him, he stood ready to face whatever lay ahead. They would break the silence of shadows with a roar louder than any fear that threatened to drown them. The storm was coming, but so was their fight. Now here's where you come in. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel, so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. And flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about the ending. You know we want to hear from you. Don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your support makes a world of difference.